What's up, mortgage coach community? Dave Savage, and I am sitting down having a conversation with Brittany Hodak, and I thought we had to turn it on live because it was just too good.
I
What's
know
up,
we were
Brittany?
talking for a while. It's so great to catch up with you. It's been so long.
Yeah, it has been way too long. I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 months since we've caught up, so a
And
lot
yet
has
it feels
happened in
like
your
four
life.
or 5 days and
Yeah, right.
also 4 or 5 years because of how weird the world is in 2020.
It is something we could have never anticipated. Uh,
It's
so it's
ironic considering how many of us went to events called 2020 Vision in the first couple of months of the year, right?
I know. It's different, and I don't know if we're opening up America now or we're opening it, closing it. Don't know how long this quarantine lifestyle we're going to have is. I'm cool if I'm going to ask you a question right now, and if it's COVID related answers, that's cool. But here's what I know for sure in the mortgage coach community right now: loan officers are busier than ever. Like, they have jobs, interest rates are at record lows, and a lot of families are refinancing. In most markets, the purchase market is still solid. People are selling and buying homes in today's market. So for mortgage professionals, they are very busy, very successful. They're doing a lot of transactions, but I have a feeling they're sacrificing transactions for clients for life because they're not doing a lot of the things that you teach and talk about in terms of creating super fans. And so I would just love to know, what's your advice on how loan officers that are meeting with lots of families, let's just say they're doing double the volume they're normally doing, what can they do to create deeper, more meaningful connections with their clients?
Yeah, well, that's the $1 million question, right? Is when you have your volume double or triple, how do you not sacrifice the personal side of it? And I think because we're all so overwhelmed and because so many people are facing unique challenges with their family now too. So perhaps you're twice or three times as busy as you've ever been, and you're also juggling kids who are home with you because summer camp is closed and there's nowhere to send them. We're all trying to do more with less time. So I think it's a combination of a few things. One of them is not being afraid to ask for help, even if you've never asked for help before. So if you're, somebody who's out there who's taken pride in the fact that you do 100% of everything on your deals in the past, maybe now's the time to offload some of those things that you've been protective of, right? Like taking a look in the mirror and doing an honest assessment and saying, am I the only person who can do this, or can this go to an admin? And offloading some of the stuff that in the past you had done because that's the way you've always done it. So that's number one. And number two is making sure you've got a really great system in place so things don't fall through the cracks. Because when you're just trying to keep all the balls in the air and juggling and trying to okay, I've got to return this email, I've got to get this done, I've got to get this paperwork in, oh, this deal is closing today. Like, when you've got so many things that you're trying to juggle at the same time, it's easy to miss stuff, especially on these complex deals where maybe if you're following everything by the book, there's 15 different points of contact that you're used to doing, or 15 different opportunities to add value or create wow. So I think it's making sure that you've got a really great system in place so that those things don't fall through the cracks, because you're right. What happens when you've got more volume than you're used to is you run the risk of having a more transactional experience for your customer rather than an opportunity to create those customers for life.
Yeah, no doubt. I totally agree with that advice. And one of the things I'm noticing with the best loan officers in the mortgage coach community is they're being more rigid than ever and consistent than ever with giving the total cost analysis at the point of sale.
Mm-hmm.
And they're finding that it's saving them time. So that's one thing that creates a wow for the consumer and it saves times. But there's other things. I mean, there's other ideas and tactics to create that wow experience. And again, this could be reminders, not necessarily something in this market. Just give us an inventory. If you're a loan officer and a lender, what are some of the things you could do, the simple and easy things you could do to create that wow experience that leads to that super fan client?
Well, I think there's not one answer across the board, because if there was, every loan officer would be doing exactly the same thing, right? So where it all starts is with your brand. Figuring out what is the brand of you. as a mortgage professional? How are you setting yourself apart? How are you adding value? What is your story? And when you do that, you can start to ask yourselves, well, what are the authentic value adds that I can provide because they fit with my story? So, it's like going to a car dealership. Like, you're going to have a very different experience at an Acura dealer than a Cadillac dealer than a Chevy dealer, right? Because they're all different brands. They've all got different customers. So even though as a mortgage professional, you're working with lots of different customers that span lots of different needs and demographics and psychographics and loan types, if you can get really consistent on your brand, that has to then be the litmus test for any marketing that you do or anything that you do with your clients. So, let's say you've got a lot of refis right now. Maybe as a little gift when the deal goes through, you're sending them a package of Legos that's like, the fact that they're like building something new, or they've now, they've refied and now they've got all these other opportunities to do stuff, or with the money that they're saving every month on their refi, like something silly. It seemingly is silly like that, right? Saying like, oh, like sending a package of Legos, that's silly. But if they've got a 7-year-old kid at home and that, and you're tying in a handwritten note that's addressing why that's like the perfect thing to send to them, that's the type of thing that's going to make somebody remember you. So I think it's the basics that we talk about all the time. Starting with that total cost analysis is a great way to immediately differentiate yourself, set yourself apart from everybody else, and then every step along the way, reminding them that you know them, you care about them, you understand their needs and concerns, and you're excited to help them with, whatever it is. A lot of cases, like you said, right now is probably a refi. You're excited to help them with a refi because you don't just care about them now, you care about them forever. And this is the deal that's right for them right now, but you're going to be there with them along the way the next time they need to, do another refi in a few years, or trade up to their next home, or get their vacation home, whatever it is. Like, making sure that people know that you're a partner, right? It's like if you meet somebody on a dating app, like there's people who are looking for like a one-time thing. There's people who are looking for relationships. You got to let people know, because if you don't tell them that you're in the relationship business, that, you want to be their person from now on, and then prove through your behaviors that you're worthy of being that person from now on, they're going to look for somebody else next time, or they're going to forget about you next time. So it's making sure that you're treating it like a relationship and not a one-night stand, to continue that terrible analogy.
Yeah, right. No, I love that. And I think you made such a good point. I think you need to create a wow at the point of sale. Just asking a family what are their goals over time is different. 90% of loan officers are just transaction. They're not like, hey, what is your real estate plan? When do you want to have your house paid off? That by itself is a differentiator for anyone listening to this. And then, of course, giving the TCA so that you're showing them how they can achieve their goals over time. But then I love that litmus test you said. Are they going to feel like you know me, and you're showing me you know me? And are you going to show me that you care? And are you going to do that throughout the transaction? I love that.
And I think it's being appropriate too with the timing. Like, if you know how many times in general that you talk to a first-time client over the phone, in person, via email, figure out a rough plan of when you're going to start to introduce some of these ideas and plant these seeds. Because you also, again, to go in and all on that terrible analogy from before, like, it's probably not the best strategy on the first date to be like, so are we getting married? So are we having babies? Similarly, you don't want to overwhelm somebody early on in the process talking about the next 50, 60 years of their life. You've got to prove yourself to them. There's a saying I really like, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you've got to prove to these customers that you do care about them as a person and not just them as a loan, to establish that relationship. So at the appropriate times, that's when you can start, introducing this idea of like, now we're in this together, we're buddies, I want to be your person forever. Because that's also when you can start to get the referrals, because obviously you're not going to be asking somebody to keep you top of mind for a referral at the beginning of the process when they haven't had a full experience with you and don't really know that much about you. So you've got to make sure that you're making these asks and creating these wow moments and wow experiences at the appropriate time throughout the entire loan journey.
Love that. So I want to close out with a question on something you and I did. It was a fun project. I don't remember what we called it, but we were looking for creative, more than testimonials. So we were both
We
being
call them
critical of
testimonials. How could you forget
testimonials.
testimonials?
Testimonials. That's right. We had our testimonial contest, and I have gotten some really fun testimonials since then. I want to know, have you seen anything new? And I want everybody on this call to really think about, how are you using your testimonials? Are you being as clever as you could be? Are you being as entertaining as you could be? Or are you cut and pasting them and pushing them into social media without any context? So because I do think creating clients for life, it's doing everything that Brittany said. And I would ask you to think of the last 10, 20 loans that you've done. Go beyond, did I get a 5-star review? Again, you're gonna know whether they gave you a review online, whether they didn't. You're gonna remember who didn't. But like, when you think of the 4 and 5-star reviews did you get, did you wow them? Did you create that client for life that's an absolute raving super fan? So I want you to audit that, but then I want you to think, what are you doing with the actual reviews? So Brittany, have you seen anything clever since our testimonial contest, or any new ideas that you got from that?
You know, I haven't seen anybody do this in the mortgage community, but what a lot of tech and app companies will do that's really smart, and you know, I'm a big fan of borrowing best practices from any vertical or any industry. I love when people take multiple short video testimonials and mash them together, sometimes like TikTok style with funny music or, you know, memes, and make like a composite video. So almost your like sizzle reel of testimonials. And that's something that could be so fun, that could be used as a point of differentiation. So when you have the opportunity to ask for a video testimonial, absolutely do it. The best time to do it is right after you've wowed somebody. Also, anytime you're getting a testimonial, but especially if you're getting a video testimonial, the more information that you can give, the better the results are likely going to be. So thinking about your brand, thinking about your customers, how do you frame the ask? So if you, you know, maybe you're saying, give this review like you would give it to a friend, right? Like, tell me this, like not the way you would type it to something super formal if you were doing it for work, but you know, give me this referral like you're talking to a friend. So whatever that tone is, whatever that voice is, create the context for people to get the type of review that you want, and when possible, capture it on video, because then as you have more and more of them, you can put them together in, or you can hire someone who can splice them together in a really fun, creative way to say something like, here are what some of my friends are saying about working with me, or here are what some of my customers just like you have to say about the experience and how refining their home helped them, you know, do XYZ, and then whatever it is that they're doing with this newfound money that they have available every month.
I love that. And I'm one of those tech companies that has one. I want to show everybody just a clip from our testimonial sizzle reel. But when I do it, I want you guys to realize you can play videos within Zoom in a unique way. So instead of just sharing my desktop, like I'm going to click share desktop, I'm going to share the video in the video player, and I'm going to check share computer sound, optimize share for video clip. And now when I play this right now, I'm going to start it from the beginning. I'm not going to play the full 1 minute. I'm going to do like 2 clips. But check this out, guys. Look how quality this is.
Mortgage Coach for me is the most important piece of software that we use. And we've got a pretty good technology stack. But if I had just one piece, it would have to be Mortgage Coach.
It is without doubt a piece of technology that you want to invest in. And the reason is it gives not only your loan officers the platform to differentiate themselves from all of the other fee worksheet loan officers in the country, but it also allows for engagement.
So guys, you could have a couple clips of the videos, and when you need to pull them out, whether you're doing a large webinar, this is just a great way to take a video and insert it and in a virtual
real estate professionals got to see how professional. And
anyways, I don't want to make it about me, but I do love that idea. And I do want to push. Yeah, no, it's a great idea. Although that was a polished, I mean, it wasn't like a TikTok style. That was a, you know, polished shoot.
But that's because your brand is polished. So I think that's a great example of again, if everybody was doing the same thing, they would all look exactly the same way, and it would all be vanilla ice cream, right? Like, or it would be 15 different like pistachio swirl ice creams. So it's all about figuring out your unique brand, your unique style, your unique voice. For instance, if I were a loan officer and I was doing a lot of refis, I would do a campaign around what people were doing with the extra money every month, either on like a monthly basis, a yearly basis, but I would do it in a fun way so that it would be like, here's Dave with Dave's new boat. Dave saves so much money with his Wi-Fi or with Wi-Fi. Dave saves so much money with his refi that he's out on the lake every weekend in the brand new boat that he's always dreamed about owning. And his testimonial is like him in a boat. And then maybe you have somebody else who's like on vacation, like if vacations were a thing we could do right now. But for some people can, those of you who live in states where people are still able to like go on vacations and get back into their state, think about, so you're not just promoting your service or the product, which in this case is the refi, but you're making the benefit the hero. So the benefit is not just that you're saving money, but what you're doing, like how your customers' lives are better because they've taken this money from the benefit that you gave them and done these other things. So just, trying to think of creative ways like that to stand out in a feed.
I love that. And guys, we're going to close it out on this because what she just talked about is the ripple effect and the impact that you created and having marketing around that. And I'm also going to push everybody and tell me if you think this is a good idea, Brittany. Like, you know how many loans you closed, so you brag about how many loans you closed. You know how much your loan volume was, so you brag about that. But do you know how much money that you saved families last month? And should you not only be showcasing a family and a story and a savings, but should you not be bragging about, I helped 25 families save X per month, and then talk about the ripple effect of that. And if those families took that money and prepaid their mortgage, they could have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars each. Like, brag about the ripple effect of the impact of what you're doing. What are your
and what
thoughts
that
on
means
that?
in the community? So it's not just, you're not just helping those families you're serving, but because of that ripple effect, you're helping the communities, you're helping the small businesses because now they have more money to do more things.
Love that. So guys, mic drop. Let us know down below what you're doing to market the ripple effect. If you are doing some cool things to create that wow and that super fan that we talked about. Also, guys, Brittany Hodak is an amazing speaker. If people want to reach out to you and get you on stage, whether it's a virtual stage or a live stage, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you, Brittany?
You can find me at BrittanyHodak.com. Thanks, Dave. There's also a lot of free goodies up on my site. So if you want some ebooks or some other cool downloads, you can find them all at BrittanyHodak.com.
Also, I will put a link down below to my last interview with her, or let's just say, I think this is the third or fourth interview, my favorite interview. I'll put a link so you can check out another interview. But guys, let's get her on more stages in the mortgage industry. One thing I'm super clear of, if you're a local referral-based mortgage professional and you are truly creating super fans, you do not have to worry about Amazon Mortgage. You do not have to worry about Zillow Mortgage. You do not have to worry about disruptors. It's all about creating super fans. So Brittany, thank you as always for bringing value and making time for our community.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me in. I love this community. I always love when I get a chance to say hi. So hope everybody is doing great out there and hope to see you all in person soon.
Take care, everybody.